Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right, chunkies, welcome back. Sloppy seconds time tonight. How the devil are we all doing? Well, yeah. Not only did we manage to lose, which wasn't surprising, you know, we've played Arsenal 30 odd times in the Premier League. We've only won 5, and we've only won one of those at their place. So we're on a bit of a hiding to nothing, but it's a lot. It wasn't a good game, was it? And on top of that, Arsenal went and beat Nottingham Forest went and won. I mean, talk about rubbing salt in the wounds. Hell, it couldn't get any worse. But anyway, how are you all? We're going to talk about the game again. I'm a sucker for punishment. And they just call me the Max Mosley of Leicester City Football Club. But I'm delighted to have my guest this evening. If you're an Arsenal fan, if you know anything about AFTV, you will know him. And it's great to finally get on. We've been trying for a while. I think he was avoiding me. I mean, he said he was on holiday. He was away in America. Then he said he was having an operation on his knee. I mean, what you do to avoid me? Let's say hi to him, Lee. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm all good, Chris. I'm just trying to avoid you, making sure that we was going to win the game. That's why, So as soon as we won, I said I'd come on.
I don't think there was any doubt about you winning that game at all, you know. But obviously, a big part of AFTV. Hope that's going well.
Yeah, all going good, thanks.
Brilliant. I watch it so many times. Robbie, when he's on Talk Sport, having a go at Simon Jordan. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love him doing his best to put it. I think he did a good job of putting him in his place, to be honest with you.
He done okay.
You know. But hey, look, the game, first of all. I mean, you must have been confident going into this. I mean, you've had a great summer. You've made some good signings. Do you feel positive about this season coming up?
Yeah, I do. And it weren't no disrespect to Leicester. By the way, I know you're a little doom and gloom at the moment. I thought Leicester give it a good game. I thought it was a fantastic game of football. I thought it was end to end, and Leicester played their part in difficult conditions with the weather and all that. Yeah. But I have to say, I felt confident. I was, fortunate enough to go to America and watch the Arsenal out there. I see something different out there in Jesus. I see us being a different side. And I said before the game that, I just feel, no disrespect to Leicester or that, they weren't going to be able to handle him. I think that there's going to be a lot of defences are not going to be able to handle the pace and movement of the three up top. And what's also benefiting and getting Jesus in there is Martinelli. Martinelli is going to be one hell of a player. I'm a big fan of Fanfana, but he was... nothing. Martinelli give him the runaround, and I don't think it's because he's head somewhere else. I just think that at the end of the day, I think that Martinelli's got that he can do that to good defenders, and I felt he played really, really well. And Jesus, you can say what you want about Johnny Evans as a defender, experienced defender, but panicked into making wrong decisions by the pace and movement of Jesus. But I think that if I was a Leicester fan, wouldn't be too doom about it. As good as we were, and I thought we was very, very good on Saturday. You kept with us, you know what I mean, at 2-1 and 3-2. So I know you're disappointed how it ended in the end, but I don't think a lot of teams would have been able to handle Arsenal on that form.
I don't. I mean, I did a watch along for it with an Arsenal fan, and I have to be honest with you, I loved, and I know we lost it and what have you, but your play was just so good. I mean, Jesus, what a signing! 2 goals, 2 assists. What more could you want?
No, it was unbelievable, wasn't he? He's like, do you know what, Chris? I'll be honest. When we first signed him, I weren't that excited. I thought, it didn't really blow me away when I watched him at Man City. But when I watched him in Germany in pre-season and then obviously in America, and he's just blown me away. I was just so excited to watch him. And what he's done is he set a level for everybody else to follow now as well. Like, I think that last time we played some good football last season, but we was toothless. But now we've got that threat, and that threat on Saturday meant that I think last season, if that was Lacazette, Johnny Evans would have pushed right up to the halfway line and said, right, I can handle this defending. But he was dropping off, and that was leaving holes for Odegaard and the midfield players to pick up. Martinelli was able to get in behind on the left-hand side because Fafana was pushing up, but then that was leaving it behind because Johnny Evans was dropping back. I just think we mix you up a little bit in defence, and that's because of the quality play. And I'm going to be honest, I thought some of the football we played was fantastic to watch. One-touch football, in and around the box.
But ultimately, it hurts me. I have to agree.
Yeah, but ultimately, in the first 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I honestly think that Leicester were a better side. They had that chance, but then the little bit of magic from Jesus, and we're 1-0 up, and that's what's the difference between good sides and average sides. And I mean that from Arsenal's point of view, because last season we would have gone in probably 0-0. Leicester might have nicked a goal and we'd have been up against it. But we go in the end of the day, 2-0 up. I think, I'm going to be honest, from the minute we scored to the end of the half, we were sensational. You know what I mean? Probably deserved to be 2-0 up from that point of view. But it could have been so different if it weren't for Jesus. And that is a fact. Great strikers cover up 1,000 sins.
I mean, good evening to Terry and David, both in the chat. As Terry says there, you bullied us. Martinelli made mincemeat of Fafana, basically what you're saying yourself. David says, hey guys, Arsenal are winning next few games, the right direction. I mean, I was watching it and I couldn't work out whether Leicester were bad or Arsenal just didn't let us be good. And sometimes it's very easy to say, like, an awful game, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. But sometimes you've got to look at the game and go, you know what? The opposition didn't let us do anything that we wanted to. And I think that was one of those games. I was so impressed with you.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I know what you're saying, because when we beat Chelsea in pre-season, we won 4-0, and you think, well, it's pre-season, Chelsea ain't that good. Then you watch Chelsea yesterday and you think, well, they were very, very good. So maybe there was a little bit in that. But I honestly just think, you caught us on a good day. Particularly at home this season, I think we're going to be a force because of those players up front and things like that. The good thing at the moment from Arsenal's point of view is if you drop deep, say like if you're a defence and you drop deep, don't let us get any space behind. We've got players in that can come short, play off it, and we can get in that sort of way. If you want to push up now, we've got that. But the other thing that we've got with bringing in Saliba and particularly with Gabriel as well, is that we've got pace at the back now. And that was another thing, Vardy so many times has caught us on the counter-attack over the years, you know what I mean? But I know he's not as young as he used to be, but he's still got that threat. But ultimately, that threat was taken out on Saturday. We was able to push up, and we felt like, okay, if you want to go the ball over the top, we're going to be able to go toe-to-toe, if you like. So we haven't got the Per Mertesackers no more, or the Mustafis, the slow central defenders. So that was a key. That is a key to it as well. So I think that we're in a lot better position than we were last season and the year before because of the personnel of players that we got now and the guys up front. Like I'll be honest with you, Chris, Saka didn't have one of his better games Saturday, and he's been our best player over the last couple of years. So if he hits form as well, Arsenal are in for a good season. But we still need to strengthen the squad. But I do think that you caught us on a good day. sometimes when you catch a team on a good day, it's about keeping in the game, and that's certainly what you did. You know, you didn't. There was a stage there, and I'm pretty sure that you'd have probably thought it as well. When it was 1-0, 2-0, you was thinking, oh, it could be 3 or 4, but it didn't materialise like that. You know, so you kept digging away, kept plugging away. And I'll tell you what, if Leicester keep their players, you know, then, you know, I still think you're a good side. I think there's some very, very good players. I thought Maddison had a very, very good game, was dangerous from the offset.
I think he was the only one. But, I mean, you know, Vardy, like you say, you didn't give him the space. He wasn't getting the ball. And at the moment, there's a lot of restless. You know, the natives are getting restless, shall we say, down at the KP with some of the decisions. I mean, 3 at the back with a Marty on the left of those 3 who's a right-footed defender. I mean, when we've got Soyuncu on the bench, who's a left-footed defender, we don't know what's going on. There's so many questions being asked at the moment. But, you know, teams go through this. You can't have success year after year after year. And when I'm saying success for Leicester, I'm talking like 5th and 6th positions. You can't always do that. And we're developing as a club. We're expanding the stadium, but we're only going up to 40,000, even with the expansion. And that doesn't touch like the likes of yourselves, Tottenham, Man United, you know, so we've got to be careful of FFP. But, we'll come on to Tielemans later, so we'll just put him to the side. But apart from that, is that midfield position something because you said you wanted to make a couple more signings, is that one that you're looking at?
Yeah, 100%. We need to strengthen in that area, like not just as a playing 11. Listen, Xhaka and Parsay done really well on Saturday, and to be honest, have played well for the last few games. But ultimately, if one of them gets injured, we haven't got no one in there to come in and do a sufficient job. So we need somebody to come in there. I do think that we need another midfield player. I think in other areas, I think we can get away with it. I do think maybe we just need an extra player up front. But if we was to get a midfield player in, I would be very, very pleased in the last couple of weeks. I think that Arsenal, if they got, you know, I was talking to my son like earlier today, and we were saying that if Arsenal to get in 3 top players, they'd push for you know, not winning the title, but push City and Liverpool. Watching Liverpool in that first half, they not impressed me, you know, that much. Their midfield isn't quite up for it. So at this moment in time, because you know why? Because they've got a couple of injuries, and that's the worry with Arsenal. Get a couple of injuries, and it could all fall apart for us, like, you know. So I do think we need to just strengthen in a couple of areas, like, you know.
I mean, I think you would probably agree. Sort of Leicester. We're not a pushover team. You know, whatever you look at the game, but 19 shots to 6 of ours, you know, and the possession was pretty much equal. You were at, you know, say maybe the first 5-10 minutes we were in it, but and I think Terry said earlier, once that first goal went in, our heads kind of went down, and I think we're just in that space at the moment. But I want to ask, as Arsenal fans, because I talked with a few Arsenal fans on here, and I went on to a Arsenal, one of the channels afterwards. It wasn't yours, but and I said, "Come on, surely now you've got to be happy with Arsenal and Arteta with that performance, the squad you've got, the purchase you bought." And he went, "No, it was all right, but I'm still annoyed with his game management." I mean, is Arteta ever going to be accepted by the Arsenal fans? And if he is, what has he got to do to be accepted?
I think he's just got to get a consistency of results. I think, like, you know, listen, we've had a fantastic summer. We brought in some good players, and things are going well. But ultimately, you know, we didn't have a fantastic January, and we didn't have a fantastic end of the season. 4 points clear with 3 games to go, and ended up not getting top 4. Going to Tottenham and playing completely into their hands, you know what I mean? Like, they're a counter-attacking side, and we only need to get a point there. They need to beat us, and we're attacking them like in the first 20 minutes. You know, I think game management is an important thing. I think with Arsenal fans is that we've been very, very patient, waiting with what's been going on and all that. But it's now time to see some sort of results, and I think that is what Arsenal fans now need to be convinced. I like Arteta as a person, and I'm not convinced still.
No.
Why I'm not convinced, Chris, is because of games like that, the Tottenham game last season, Newcastle away, too many defeats, too many poor performances in a run where we get 3 or 4 results. And I think this is a massive test for Arsenal now. Like, I think if I'm going to be really honest, our first five games, the first 2 were our toughest. Crystal Palace and Leicester. We've now got Bournemouth. We've now got Fulham and Aston Villa at home. So 2 away, 1 at home. We should pick up maximum points. Now, if we don't, questions will be raised. You know what I mean? And rightly so. Arsenal should go and win those games comfortably. In saying that, we're looking at Liverpool today that are struggling. Like every game, as you well know, there's no easy games. But ultimately, if you're going to be, you're going to be judged at some stage. You've got to start putting in consistent results, week in, week out, month in, month out. It's no good Arsenal winning 5 games and then losing 4, which has been happening in the last few years. So we've got to have a consistency run of it going. And if Arsenal do that, and then I think, with the way the fans are at the moment, and that Arteta will get the credit and the love that that comes with it, and deservedly so. I think he's turning a lot of Arsenal fans at the moment, Chris. I'll be honest. You know what I mean? Like for me, I've always been a little bit against the appointment because I didn't think that we should have a manager learning on the job. I see why we've gone down that road, shall I say. We're looking a lot better for it. So, listen, we've been patient. Us Arsenal fans have been very, very patient, spending, top money to watch, defeats 8th. But, when he first come in, I like what he done, Mikel, and I think that it's a results business, and I don't care if he's a nice bloke and he gets the fans on side and all that. Like, for me, it's about getting results, and that is the important thing.
Is it? I mean, you had obviously a reasonable amount. Well, you had some of your best years, let's face it, under Arsene Wenger. At the end, everybody seemed to want him out. You always say, "Be careful what you wish for," but it's. I just think it's like how many, since you've been in sort of Champions League places, it's only been a few seasons. Yes, it's been longer since obviously you've won the Premier League, but he came in and this time last year you were doing the Man United. You were bottom there with no points, and yet you still ended up. I think was it 6th you finished in or 5th?
5th. We came 5th in the end.
So I mean, it was a good turnaround, and he came in, and I felt it was a difficult job to come into because there was so much change needed. There was a lot of sort of people that needed to be got out of the club that he got out of the club. And rebuilding, it's time consuming and it takes time. And I think if you see progression every year, surely that's as much as you can hope for, and just give it time.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And what I think is the most important thing about it all is that, and I've been really honest about this, is that what we've done is. This time last season, you could see that we was completely and utterly not ready for it. Completely and utterly in a fit. What we've done this season, though, is that we've got Jesus in. He's been involved in every pre-season game. So when we've gone into pre-season, you can see that we're right up for every. We've been ready this season. So we've made mistakes last season. From the board or the recruitment or whatever, and what we've done now is we've got these people in, the players in early, and then now you can see what's happening on the pitch. You have a look at Man United; they've still not got their players in, and maybe by September they might get them in. But then you've lost, 5, 6, 7, 8 points to teams like Man City, Tottenham, and whatever. Now at the end of the day, we give Tottenham and the rest 9 point start after 3 games. We had no points, no goals. And we done well to get back in it, but we only lost out on top 4 by a point in the end. Now, if we'd have got the recruitment right at the beginning of last season and got everything done right, who knows? So I do think, which is a good thing, is that they've looked at that and thought, you know what, we're not going to make that mistake again. And I look at Arsenal now, and why I was confident about us beating beating Leicester on Saturday, because we were ready. do you remember like the 4-3 against a few years ago? It was an in and out. It was a shambles of a game from our point of view tactically because we wasn't ready. But in this game, like, you know what I mean, we was ready, like, you know.
But yeah, again, last season, the season before last, you were out of Europe altogether. You're now back into Europe. So, like I say, there are signs there that you are going as a club in the right direction. But will he be given the time? I mean, let's say you finish top 4 this season, and I've got you down for finishing 4th. I'm not going to lie. I think you've got a good squad. I think everybody's behind Liverpool and Man City at the moment. Probably a couple of seasons off. Whether they'll ever be caught or not, who knows? But if you get 4th this season and maybe a good cup run, again, that's progress, isn't it?
100%. Who you got down as 3rd?
Don't ask. I've
actually got them down as 3rd as well. But I watched them yesterday. I weren't that impressed. But
no. But I've got Chelsea as 5th, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm quite impressed with Chelsea. If I'll be honest, yesterday. But I think that Arsenal. Listen, I think there comes a time, Chris, when you've got to be accountable. You're at Arsenal Football Club, and no disrespect to anybody else, we're a massive club, so you've got to start being accountable. And I think that I'm gonna, whatever happens this season, I'm gonna back him, give him the support and everything like as an Arsenal fan should. I'm not going to be calling for his head if we lose a couple of games or whatever. But ultimately, if he doesn't get into top 4 at the end of this season, then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, no excuses. And that's how it is. So, and I hope that everybody at Arsenal does the same. So, like, every time you go to the Emirates, it's like it was on Saturday, rocking. So they can't go, oh, this was not good. This weren't no good. Everything there is in place for Arsenal to get 4th. Now, I'll be honest, 4th's not good enough for the standards of Arsenal Football Club. Arsene Wenger got sacked because he wasn't, you know what I mean, like 4th and everything. So when you got fans that are backing the Arteta and everything like that, it's the same fans that, of course, were calling for his head. You know what I mean? So there's got to be somewhere along the line accountability, and for me, this season is progress. Get into the top 4 and go on again and kick on again. But I do think that we're going in the right direction. When you see the football that I see, look, I've actually nigh on falling asleep at some of the games I've watched over the last couple of years under Mikel. I can tell you, I didn't on Saturday. It was entertaining. It was good to watch. And listen, we put a decent Premier League side to the sword at stages of that game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be honest, football's fine lines. The goalkeeper. Ward, he kept you in it in the first half. We made about 3 fantastic saves. Then he makes a mistake. So, that's goalkeeper. That's football as well. So, from our point of view, I'm more than pleased what I've seen in the first game. Now, Crystal Palace away, tough game, as everybody knows. We went there and got the result. And so we're in a good position at this moment in time. We need now to kick on. It's no good winning those 2 games in, Chris, and then going to Bournemouth and not getting the right result. So, I expect us to go on, get a good result. If we get a good positive result, I'll be looking at Mikel and going, do you know what? You're starting to get things right. And then, that, as I say, it is about results. And I think Arsenal, come the game against Man United on September the 4th, should be 5 games in with 15 points. You know what I mean? Like, simple as that. And if they're not, then I'm looking at Mikel and going, right, are you really good? And I know that's harsh when you say it, but I'm looking at, if that was Tottenham, that was Liverpool, that was Manchester City, they're getting 15 points from those 5 games, particularly when you've beaten the toughest 2 that you've got, which were Leicester. And, I'll be honest, I'd be very surprised if Leicester don't finish above Fulham, Aston Villa, and Bournemouth. I'll be honest. And Crystal Palace. So
fingers crossed. I had heard actually that on Friday night, as you were top of the league, that Arsenal were bringing out the season's best of compilation. Listen, I don't know if that's true. That might just be a rumour.
It's certainly not true. But I'll tell you what, we've had it bloody tough over the last few years. I tell you, as Arsenal fans, it's not been pretty.
You see it from an outside point of view, but it's never the same as, being a fan of that club and what it looks like to the outside is completely different. But I must admit, I'm going to have to do this, and you'll probably hate me for it, and I don't care because I do it every time we talk Arsenal. So let me just play this for you.
It's time for the Daily Arsenal.
And I can always tell you it is 18 years, 92 days, 4 hours, 42 minutes and 45 seconds.
A very, very long time, like, you know. So, listen, if someone would have
I do have a Tottenham one as well, which is even longer.
Well, that's even longer, like, you know. But if someone would have said to me after that invincible year that we won't, you know, be in 2022, we wouldn't have won the league again, I wouldn't have believed you.
Do you think he was wrong to get rid of Wenger, or had he done his time as manager?
Listen, I think, you know, it's very, very tough. Very, very tough for someone like Arsene Wenger to say, look, you know, like to leave. You know, I'll be honest. And why? It's like saying to me, you can't go to the Arsenal no more. Like, it's, you know, it's a difficult thing. But ultimately, you know, it'd gone past his sell-by date, and people go, oh, his first 10 years are fantastic, and then his last 10 weren't. I've always been at the thing like his first 10 years was sensational. His next 5, from moving to the stadium to the Emirates and doing 5 years there, was just as fantastic. You know what I mean? We had a team competing, playing fantastic football, selling our best players year in, year out, and still being up there with the likes of the big boys and everything like that. His last 5 years, and when there was a little bit of money involved, you know, I just think he lost it a little bit. Like, to go into a season with just buying Petr Cech, the season that you won the league, by the way, that season, we just bought Petr Cech in goal when we had, funny enough, Arteta and Coquelin as the only 2 real midfield players, and we went on. I think we went and bought Flamini on a free transfer. If we'd have invested in that season, who knows what would have happened? But we didn't, and I just felt then you could see that he was losing it. Look, we still was a good to win the FA Cup and things like that. Yeah. But ultimately, I just think that it was the right time. Probably 2 years too long at the job, like, you know, if I'll be honest. Listen, people were calling for his head when he lost to Birmingham. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, circumstances were happening.
People are starting to call for Brendan's head now. You know, it's we're fickle. You look up football fans.
Of course they are.
It says fickle. We all are. And when we do these shows, you know, we look for things that have gone wrong. So that's what we want to talk about. But,
of course. I think Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, by the way. From the outside looking in, I think he's very, very good. But you're going to tell me that he makes baffling decisions, you know. So exactly. They all do, you know. So
he's very much, I think, in the Arteta mould. You think, oh, he's getting it right, and then suddenly you think, what the bloody hell have you done that for? You know.
Yeah.
But even in that, talking about the Premier League winning season, even then we lost 3 times that season, and twice was to you.
Do you know what? And I'm going to say this now, and I've always said this, you know, people have always said, oh, Arsenal blew it that season and all that, like, you know. I'll never forget it. Valentine's Day, when we beat you with that Danny Welbeck last-minute winner, you never went on and lost a game after that. That was the last time you lost in the Premier League. Now, if you look at that, a lot of teams might have folded from that, but Leicester didn't. So, you know, listen, Tottenham, Arsenal didn't blow it. That season, Leicester went and won it, you know. I'm going to be really honest, we couldn't keep pace with it. I honestly thought that we had a great chance of winning it after that game, and I actually speaking to some Leicester fans coming out and saying, you know, you're that's you know, like, we're going to knock you down. That would have been a big difficult pill to swallow, that last minute's goal, and I didn't deserve to lose, if I'll be honest. He was winning and we come back. So, but ultimately, you dusted yourselves down and didn't lose another game in the Premier League after that. So, all credit to you, like, you know. So,
he says, you know, he says that was the game. You know, he went into the dressing room afterwards. Your guys were celebrating. There was that famous selfie. You know, you doing the thing that was stuck up on our dressing room wall for the rest of the season as an incentive. And he said, look, you know, if it's taken Arsenal 96 minutes, whatever it was, to beat us, then and they're now celebrating, then we can go on and win this. And that
Yeah,
is the point when he thought
it was a great point, and it was right. You know what I mean? Like I honestly felt that would have. I didn't think that Leicester would come back from that. You did, and all credit to you, like, you know. And listen, deserved champions, and you know, Tottenham. I don't think that people say, "Oh, Tottenham blew it." They didn't blow it. You know what I mean? They tried to keep pace with you and couldn't do it. You know, so and I think towards the end of that season, you lost Vardy for. Did he get sent off in a game or something? That he was out for a few games.
West Ham, yes.
And you still managed to get the goals that done it and all that, like, you know. So no, and that's what, you know, when people turn around and, you know, laugh at people when you go, well, you know, Arsenal might win the league this season or whatever, like, you know what I mean. Nobody knows if anything can happen in football, like, you know. So it's going to be an interesting. So I think, if I'm going to be really honest, I think Manchester City are going to be too strong for everybody. If I'll be honest, but I don't think there's a great difference between the rest of the teams. I think Liverpool, they're definitely up there a little bit, but then the rest of them, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, they've all got a win in them, all got a defeat in them. So, you know, it's going to be very, very interesting, like, you know, and Liverpool struggling tonight, you know what I mean? So there's no easy games, There is not. And I mean, last season, trying to do a thing in the prediction league, and you can predict a thing last week. You know, Man United fans popped in now and said Liverpool so overrated. You're on sticky wicket at the moment there, Mike. I think. How are Newport doing? Are they're winning for you? They won for you. But like you say, it is so hard. But Manchester City, they've got the money, haven't they, these days? And I want to talk to you because, again, on a lot of the Arsenal channels that I go on, as Fleetly TV, Luca's channel, they are very anti your owners. And we've obviously got great owners. We trust in our owners. They've bought not just into the club but into the city. You know, it's amazing. And obviously the sad news with the helicopter crash. Yeah. But they couldn't do it. I always say, if Carlsberg did football owners, we've got a good one.
You know,
a good one.
I mean, obviously, Man United, they hate the Glazers and what have you. But what is it? You know, because they always seem to back the manager.
Yeah. Listen, I've got no problems with that. I've got no problems with them, what they've done. They have put money in. They've spent a lot of money. They've spent a lot of money over the last 2 seasons, and they're building something good. What I like from an owner, and I've been brought up with the Hillwoods when I supported Arsenal and everything like that. They're there every week. You know, like when you're there every week, you care. You know, like whether you love him or loathe him. Abramovich, when he was allowed, was there every game. You know,
I was going to say the same. Yeah,
and that's what you want. You want your owner to care. You know, now if your owner cares and hurts as much as you when you lose a game, then that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, and you can go, well, okay. Listen, the Hillwoods weren't always great and all that, but you knew that they cared and loved Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. I'm not too sure if the Cronkies do. There does seem to be a little bit of a change since they've got complete ownership, you know, and everything like that. They're over it a little bit longer. But when you see them celebrating NFL wins and basketball wins and all that, like, you know, I like to see an owner with that passion for my football club. That's the only criticism that I've really got of it, if I'll be honest. That when Arsenal lose, do they hurt as much as I do? And if they did hurt as much as I do, then they wouldn't just be spending £15 million on a goalkeeper in a season. That's my thing. I'll be saying, right, I want this and I want that. And that's the only problem that I've got with them. Yeah.
Sometimes you can have too many sports interests, can't you? You know.
Exactly. Listen, I love. I've got, like, I watch the Washington in the NFL. I support Yorkshire. I go up to the cricket every now and then. But if they lose, you know, I'm nowhere near as upset as when Arsenal do. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to relate it to. So, you know, did they really, really hurt when Arsenal lose? Well, you know, that's for me is the way it should be.
I always say after I think we're the biggest club never to have won the FA Cup. We finally won it. I mean, how many owners would you have seen on the pitch with the players jumping up and down with the FA Cup in his hands?
Yeah, and the players love it for him. They love him for it. You know what I mean? So, I think also you have to look at the owners and, you know, the Schmeichel thing, whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing. They've looked at it and gone, do you know what? You've been fantastic for us and all that, and we'll let you go. You know, so they're a caring people.
I don't regret Schmeichel going one little bit. I was a bit worried about getting Leno, I've got to admit, when that rumour surfaced. But no, he's been a great servant to the club. You know, I mean, he had to be held back when he tried to get into the helicopter when it was on flames and exploding because he wanted to try and get Vichai out. The guy, you know, if you ever could say there's a Mr. Leicester, and they say that about Alan Birchnell, but he is amazing, and he deserves his 3 years down at the south of France.
Just enjoying life. Yeah,
have a good 3 years, and we've got Danny Ward coming through. But yeah, I mean, our owners. I mean, you know, first game of the season, free water or beer. You know, when you turn
just things like that do help, though, doesn't it? It does help. You know what I mean? It does help.
So Terry's got a question here, and I can guess what your answer is going to be, but. Before we come on to the elephant in the room, Lee, what was your thoughts on the ESL saga?
Well, listen, you know what I mean? For me, you know, it just shows it's all about money, the greed, just sheer and utter greed, like, you know what I mean? Like that. For me, I'm not interested in. I'm old school, like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, European football, but for me, the Premier League English football is what it's all about. I want to go. I'd rather go to teams like Leicester, Newcastle, West Ham, Brighton than go to foreign teams all the time.
Could you afford to go to Barcelona every?
No, I certainly don't. I don't want to go to Barcelona every time. They don't really want you going there neither, if I'll be honest. They don't want away fans going there. They just want it to be like all the home fans going there and everything. But for me, you know, a complete and utter wrong thing to do, like, you know. And listen, the Premier League is fantastic because it's about the Leicester Cities, it's about the Arsenals, but it's also about other teams as well. Bournemouth, that we've got like 12,000 fans as it going to the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about teams dreaming, not Nottingham Forest coming. I know you ain't going to like that.
100%, yes.
Coming up, having the dream. You know, Huddersfield have had their day in the sun. You know, so it's not just about Arsenal. It's not just about Tottenham. It's not about the big guns and all that. Like, you know, it's about everybody having their day and having a fair crack at it. Like, you know, so and listen, I'm old school on that side of it. Like, you know. I don't want that ever to change.
I was surprised by the reaction of all the fans of the clubs involved, and how quickly they sort of backed down. They obviously they hadn't thought about it that much. But I mean, I lived just outside Bournemouth, and I came down here 15, 16 years ago. And the first summer I was down, the Bournemouth players, it was minus 17 points in the fourth tier. And they were collecting money outside the Pavilion Theatre in buckets to try and keep the club going. Yeah. And for them getting up to the Premier League, had we not won the Premier League that season, I think Bournemouth would have been the story. And that is what it's all about. The Blackpool's getting into the Premier League.
Blackpool, yeah.
This is football. Football is a dream. And I think it may never happen again, what Leicester did. But even when we'd won it, they didn't want us to take part in that ICC World Championship thing, whatever it was that was on at pre-season, where you flew all over the world. But it is all about your teams dreaming and hoping. And I think, you know, clubs look at Leicester and go, God, that might be us one day.
100%, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Wigan's winning the FA Cup and things like that. Yeah. Wimbledon back in the day winning the FA Cup. It is all about the hope of one day that might be you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. You know, the dream is for me as an Arsenal fan is to see us win the league again. Like, you know what I mean? Whether we will or not, I don't know. But listen, you know, people will turn around to me that Arsenal have not won the European Cup I'll be honest. And they go, well, what would you prefer to win, the Premier League or the Europa? Premier League every time. Always, 38 games in a league season. Shows you the best. If you win the European Cup, you're not the best team in Europe. You've won the European Cup, but not at the end of it, it doesn't necessarily mean say you're the best because it's a cup competition.
And you're not
league is always your bread and butter. Every game.
Oh, good, yes.
That's for me.
What I don't like about the Champions League is that you don't have to be champions to be in it. So
exactly. That's another thing. Yeah. It's another thing. It's about money, isn't it?
Champions of Europe, but they weren't even champions of
their own league. Exactly. So it's all a money. It's all a money-making thing. That's what it is. That's what it all is now. And I get the Premiership is all a little bit about the money side and all that, But ultimately, it's still English clubs. Whether it's a Premier League or Division 1. If I'm going away from home, I'm going to visit Bournemouth, or I'm going to go to Blackburn, or I'm going to Leicester or whatever. That's what you want to do. I want to go to all the grounds in England, and it's part of it. You know what I mean? That's part of being a fan. So that never change. You know what I mean? I don't want to get on a plane and go over to Barcelona for the week, and then the next week over to Bayern Munich and everything like that. No, the reason that you play Bayern Munich and you play Barcelona is because you're doing well in the league that gives you the opportunity to play in Europe.
100%. Terry says then, I didn't know this. He says, just remind me, Lee, didn't you used to be a manager? Yeah,
I've done a bit of non-league managing and all that. Done a little bit of that. When I finished playing football. So that is true.
I mean, if Arteta fails,
listen, I wouldn't be as claimed to be as good as him and all that. It's a different world, but ultimately, it's not easy. I can tell you that now. So.
I've only ever done the enthusiastic. Well, it was the FA Part 1, which I always called the enthusiastic dad stage when I was teaching my kids and part of a club. And to be honest with you, it was more hassle than it was worth.
Oh no, but good. Do you know what? I when my son played football, I never actually got involved as a manager. I helped coach the team and everything like that. Never wanted to deal with the parents. Never ever you know what I mean? Seen it, done it.
Yeah,
didn't want to go there.
It was amazing. I mean, for one game, we need as soon as you need a linesman, all the parents disappear. So you go like you stood there and then I'll do it, And we're not professionals. We don't, know exactly. We're running up and down, and you suddenly give, an offside to one of your own players, and all the parents that you were chatting to at the start of the game are having a go at you. You're thinking come on, give us a break here. But we're going to get to the big question now. Let's say the big elephant in the room, as they say. I'm just trying to find something here, and I can't. Where has it gone to? Yep. We'll do that straight after this.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester LTIDtv
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City.
Not sure if that froze then or not, but
no, it's quality there. Yeah, some good names there.
Yeah. Oh yes, Alan Smith. I mean, we share him.
Yeah.
It's quite funny because my oldest he's sort of 25, and I said, I'm getting Alan. This was the last season, so I'm getting Alan Smith on. We have a chat, and he went, "Is he the guy that does FIFA?" I'm like, "Oh, for God's sake, but no." Tielemans. I mean, I can remember when Man United were after Sancho, and it went on and on and on. And as a neutral, I was getting fed up with it. It was on every news and what have you. And I was thinking, it's like paying back now because they're all getting that about Tielemans. He is out of contract in a obviously 12 months' time. If you came along and put a check now on the table for 25 million, I reckon he'd go. He wants to go to you. I think he was speaking to you even when Wenger was there because of the Monaco link. You're supposed to have agreed details with his with his agent. You could argue that after that performance on Saturday, you might knock another 5 million off if you still want him. What from an Arsenal perspective, because we're at the point now of Leicester fans. I am literally got to the point now. Look, pack up and F off or something,
Yeah, I think it's getting to that stage, isn't it? Listen, he's not going to sign a new contract, but what I'm hearing from our end is that Leicester are demanding more like 40 million, than Arsenal not prepared to pay 40 million for a player with a year left of his contract. I think that if Leicester, I think they're playing a little bit of ball. What's the word, like chicken here, like, you know what I mean, like knowing that he can go to the end of his season, whatever. Listen, Leicester are in a difficult position because come the end of this window, the season finishes or stops till in November, and then comes back in, and then you're looking at like 6 months left of his contract, and then like at the end of the day, the next transfer window, you're only going to get him like for September, October, and a bit of November, and then the price is going to go like massively down. So Leicester have got to make a decision somewhere along the line. Now, at the end of the Arsenal said, look, if the price, as soon as the price is right, we're going to come and get you. And it's just up to Leicester to do it now. I didn't think that if I'll be honest, I was thinking he might have put in a better performance than he did on Saturday. I didn't say that he down tools in that game, but it looked to me that it was a player that didn't want to get injured, didn't want to get hurt. He's just going to go through, just do enough to get through a game of football. That's what it looked to me like. Do you know what I mean? And so if I was a Leicester fan now, I would be urging Brendan Rodgers, look, let's get the money now. Get it done now, so we've at least got two weeks left to find out who you want. The worst thing scenario for Leicester is going to come along if it goes on the last day of the season and you can't get anybody in, So I think that Leicester are going to, within the next week, something's going to happen. But the fact of the matter is that whether he goes to Arsenal, whether he don't, and whether there's an agreement there, he's basically said that he's not going to sign a new contract. So it's over to Leicester now to see what you want to do. Basically, I watched him not this season, the season before. Not last season, the season before that. He's a quality player, but I felt last season he wanted out last season, didn't get his way, and he's not quite. His heart's not there. Now, when people turn around to you and say, "Oh, that's out," well, listen, if you I play football, and if your heart's not in it, you're not going to be giving it your all. When you're at a club and everything's going your way and all that, you run through walls and all that. Psychologically, if you're not quite in love with whatever, you just go through the motions, and that's what he's doing. And
from our point of view, this time last season, I think there would have been more clubs knocking on his door because he'd come off the FA Cup win. They'd had
it was fantastic in that FA Cup, by the way, goal and everything like that.
Amazing, and we'll love him forever for that. But he then last season we had so many injuries that he was playing. If he'd have been playing like he was last season in the FA Cup, he would not have got that goal. He was out of position, he struggled, and that's probably why I don't think there was any players last season apart from Kieran Dewsbury-Hall that actually put that could come out of it looking good. But I just think, we've had both sides of it. We've had, we had Mahrez who went on strike. He was sat at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport waiting for his agent to ring to tell him which plane to get on. He was, he wouldn't play because the depression had gone down because we wouldn't sell him, etc. And then you get Harry Maguire, who knew a season, before he went to Man United, that Man United were going to come in for him, and he wanted to go. And what he said was to Leicester was like, well, you rescued me from Hull. I'll sign another contract so that you can demand sort of a wage, fee for me. But there's going to be certain conditions in. Now, if Yuri had any respect to us for Leicester, he could sign a 1-year extension so that we could at least maybe get 25 million for him in a year's time. He could sign that very easily. He could get a nice little pay rise. And then he can say, look, if a club that's playing in Europe comes in for me, you've got to let me speak to them. If a club that comes in and offers 25, 30 million come in, you've got to let me speak. So he can do all that and still not drop us in it, if you like. the other thing as well is a case, I think, of who will blink first. If we keep hold of him, he could be the difference between us getting, say, 7th and 8th. We got £80 million last year from getting to the semi-finals of the Europa Conference. That is more than we would lose on
the transfer lot. Yeah.
So, we could turn around and say, well, fine, And the other thing would he be, apart from now, people are saying that he shouldn't be, starting lineup against Southampton. Usually he is going to be one of the first names on the sheet. Would he be that for Arsenal?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's good enough, if I'll be honest. I think that Arsenal, I wouldn't say that there's anybody guaranteed a place in the Arsenal team, you know what I mean? So I think that, he'd do very well. I like him as a player, I'm going to be honest. I think that he would get into the Arsenal team. I like his versatility. As I said a couple of seasons ago, I really, really did like him as a footballer. I felt last season he'd gone off the boil a little bit, but I think there's reasons for that,
Yeah, I think
I think that both, if Arsenal want him, and let's be honest, if we do, then I think that if we was to say, look, there's £25 million for him, right? That's a good deal, Chris. It's a good deal for us still at £25 million. Why are we trying to get it for less than that and whatever? If Leicester are asking for 40 million, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it when he's got a year of his contract and he's not going to sign. So somewhere you've got to compromise. And I think, maybe Arsenal were thinking, look, for 30 million for a player that's with a year's contract is not good. But look, come on, sometimes, you have to pay out. Like we paid over the odds for Ben White. So he was a good player, by the way, you know what I mean? But ultimately, listen, if Arsenal want him, see, what worries me, it's not right, by the way, is that, I've spoken to Leicester fans, and it's the same what we're getting from Dan, what you're getting is that he said, I want to come to Arsenal, Leicester club, I want to go to and all that. We shouldn't even be talking to anybody at this moment in time. We shouldn't even have an agreement there because he's under contract with Leicester. So I know that this happens and everything like that. So Arsenal feel that they're in a position where they can say, right, okay, we'll just wait there for a couple more weeks and we'll see what happens. I'll be very, very surprised. There was a rumour here last week that we're going to wait till he goes out of contract next year. I can't see Leicester letting that happen. I really can't. If Leicester,
I can't see us letting him go very late in the window and not giving us enough time to get
exactly. You know what I mean? And
I think if we said okay, we'll take, we'll put 30 million on his head. You probably, you could say Arsenal will come and go out. We'll offer 20. I suppose, the other thing is if we're saying 40, you might then come in and offer. Who knows?
Oh, no, but I think at the end of the day, he's worth 30 million. In my book, he's worth 30 million. You know what I mean? Forget about the contracts. He's a good player. 30 million for an experienced Premier League player. When you're paying 34 million for someone like Vieira that I've never heard of and no experience in the Premier League, I just think that it's not. If I'll be honest, holding a club at ransom. Now, we've had it happen to us with the Sanchez thing. We've had it before with players, you know what I mean? So it does happen. But when you get into that last year of your contract and let things go a little bit, you are forced into this situation a little bit, So that we had it with Aubameyang, you know what I mean? He was in a year left of contract and ended up spending 2-3 times more money than we should have done on wages, you know what I mean? So ultimately, at the end of the day, both teams, I think both clubs, if that is the case, both clubs should come to a sensible agreement and get it done.
We'll swap you for Saka.
No, you can't. You can have Maitland-Niles if you want, you know what I mean. You can have Maitland-Niles, So
listen, I tell you what, a couple of seasons ago, we wanted him.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He's still a good player. I'll tell you that now. You know what I mean? You could do Maitland-Niles and maybe even someone like Sambi Lokonga on loan or something, just to ease things. Just do something that maybe think. I'll tell you what. Yeah, that'd be a good thing as well. Do you know what I mean? Or I don't know. I might be disrespecting.
Have you been surprised by Leicester's lack of activity?
Yeah, I have been, because you know what? I think they've been fantastic in the recruitment over the last few years, you know what I mean? But listen, you've got Drewsbury in the midfield, who I think's class. You've still got Harvey Barnes to come back, who's class. You know what I mean? He's been injured and all that, and it is hard. was saying this the other day to a Leicester fan, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you need to replace Vardy. That's easier said than done, you know what I mean? Like, he's been absolutely magnificent over the last sort of 10 years, 5, 8 years for you, you know what I mean? They don't come along very often, like, to replace. You know, they've done well in certain areas to get rid of Maguire for the money that you got, and then to bring in players that you have done. So they've done it very, very well, Leicester. Like, you know, got some very, very good players at your football club. Like, make no mistake about that. Like, you know, perhaps 1 or 2 is needed. I don't know if there's not got the funds or whatever at this moment in time. So that's something that you have to look at and all that. Like, but I'm pretty sure if Tielemans does go, Leicester will find a replacement.
At the end of the day, you know, no one player is bigger than any club. Let's be honest.
100%, and that goes for Leicester, Arsenal, and whatever. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
So you did right, and hopefully, you know, something can be sorted out.
And whatever happens, we can always laugh at United being bottom.
We can do and enjoy it, like, you know what I mean, and enjoy it.
Lee, I really appreciate you coming on. I know we've tried to get you on for leading
up. No, enjoyed it, like, you know.
It was going wrong. Look after yourself and your knee. Don't go
you
doing
too.
a marathon.
Good luck to Leicester for the rest of the season.
And good luck. I say I've got you down for 4th, and if you play like, it was a pleasure. As hurtful as it was a pleasure to see that at the weekend. You played very, very well, you know. But thanks very much, Lee. All the best to you and your family. Take care, and maybe we'll speak again soon.
Definitely. Look after yourself.
All the best, Lee. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, so thanks very much to Lee there for joining us. Lovely, lovely guy. And thank him for his kind words about Leicester. I've got to be honest with you. I've got them down for finishing 4th. And I think that if they play against most teams the way they played against us, there's no reason why they can't. Tomorrow, we have this. We do. 9 o'clock tomorrow night is our next show. It's the prediction show with me and Brad. And normally, of course, we do have Steve Lynix on. He's sunning himself in sunny wherever he's gone. I'm not sure where he's gone, to be honest with you. It was a last-minute decision. He's gone. No doubt if we ask him nicely, he may show us his white bits. If you want to see it, ladies, I don't know. But we are going to be joined by, as you can see there, Jerry Taggart. You all know Jerry. He doesn't need, I don't need to sell it to you. We all know him. And as we said earlier, details about his wife's charity walk are in both Facebook and the Twitter. It's pinned to the top of Twitter. Please go and donate to that. It's all about helping underprivileged kids out. And they, you know, we've all got kids. Well, most of us have got 4. If it was our own, I know how we feel. So let's get over there. Let's get over and give him some support on that Just Giving. The link is in Twitter at LeicesterTID. Thank you very much for watching. And if you're catching this up on your favourite podcast station, whatever that may be, we're all over it. Leicester Till I Die on podcast. In fact, this is where
watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform, or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die. Broadcasting live worldwide.
We are all over. We are all over. If you haven't already enjoyed the show, please give us a subscribe. Full of Leicester City content, obviously, but we also do like the prediction leagues. We do the weekly review at 7 o'clock on a Monday, and we've got Women's Super League reviews coming up. We do quizzes. We've got I think it's West Ham versus Manchester United quiz coming up on Wednesday, so that is something to look forward to. Thank you all very much. I will see you tomorrow at 9. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Thanks for watching. Thanks very, very much for listening as well. Remember, don't do anything I won't enjoy. Good night now.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Till
watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Cool. I'm out of here. Ooh, that's a wrap.
Some people are on the pitch.